Today is Bookmap, by the way. RTY 2285, XLF is 4707, TLT is 9538, VIX is 20.05. In terms of VIX, yesterday, Bookmap, we had a crap ton of sell-side icebergs yesterday. Monumental. And so far, we already have one right at 1,000 coming out of the gate here, and I'll continue to see if they start to build to do that same scenario again. Took two positions yesterday, both short NASDAQ positions, and then I shut it down and walked away for the entire afternoon, which I think is a great idea. Overall, NASDAQ ended up going down a couple hundred points. ES went from 59.15 at the morning, and it got all the way down to 58.50 for a 65-point move overall, which is a pretty healthy move. They chopped it up in a morning and afternoon move. Looking across the market, we have got a mostly green S&P. 7 of the 10 X sectors are green. One of them is barely red, and it's about to flip green, which will make 8 out of 10 green. Except all of tech is red, except for NVIDIA. Apple's down 1%, Microsoft's down 1.3, Meta's down 1.4, Google's down 0.6, Amazon's down 0.55, and the only green name out there is NVIDIA, 1.5 up. So yeah. A little bit of red coming off here. NASDAQ down to 310. Just smoked the entire pre-market range, new pre-market low right out of the gate, and they're already dumping 57 points to start the day off. Yesterday's low is about 254, and we'll be watching that. Taking a look at oil. If you look at the daily chart on oil, we've talked about that in great length on Sunday, and now they're still proceeding lower here. We've had a nice little selling climax on oil as energy continues to have some beat down. Overall, they're hanging out right at our key macro support level. Bounced right off of it yesterday in a beautiful manner. And today they're bouncing off of it for a double tap again. So again, utilize the macro levels on that. It should treat you pretty well. And they're hovering around the main POC on the daily chart. The main POC for oil is 72.31 for oil. And they've got a shift on the high volume node down to about 70.4, 70.5. And we're pinning to that. If they give up 70.5 without a bottom wick, then I would look for oil to retrace back down to 67, 67. However, I'm still bearish on oil down to about 68.20 because we don't have any high volume bounces. We have no defense for the buyers. We have no high volume green. We have no major bottom wick. That's just holding out at 70.72, which looks like seller's absorption. So I would look for about 78 and change, and maybe lower 69s on oil. Looking at NASDAQ, we have a large red engulfing candle with an uptick in volume. So we have the volume matching the price on ES and NASDAQ, which is a confirmed bearish move. So today, most likely, I'll be looking to enter into a downside position, probably anywhere between 5 to 10 days in DTE, and roughly 50 to 60 points out of the money. I'm going to be pretty conservative with the strike. I'm not going for 400 or 500 points, and see if I can get me a move. If I could even get a mid 5,700 touch or lower, that would net me a couple of 100%, which would be a pretty dang good trade considering the month. This thing on? Check, check. Hello? Am I just talking to no one? Bueller? What's up, YouTube? How's it going, Invest in Muscle? Good morning. Good morning. 58.58. In terms of catalyst, we have nothing. We have nothing. Very, very weak catalyst today. Today's Wednesday, October 16th. 16:30 is our next, or 4:30 in the afternoon is our next catalyst event, which is a crude oil catalyst. And still then, nothing. Tomorrow we have a whole crap ton of catalysts, except they're all small catalysts. They're all weak stuff. Retail sales, Fed manufacturing, continuing jobless claims, etc., etc. Crude oil inventories is, of course, 11 o'clock, so we'll see if that can funnel down to that 68 target, 68.5 on oil. And then Friday, we have FOMC Boston and a whole plethora of FOMC events, or FOMC speeches. So, yeah, buddy. Is OM muted? Yeah, yeah. Tuned in a few minutes late. Yeah, so based on what I'm seeing here on the daily, which I'll show you kind of what I'm looking for, is two things. I mean, obviously, I'm going to leave this on here, but that's not my. Here's ES. Now, it's not because of the ascending wedge, although that's part of the equation. If you look at the yesterday's daily candle, we had a very large up candle 2 days ago, and then yesterday we had a very large red candle, which almost engulfed. It's not technically engulfing, but it almost engulfed. It took out the low. It nearly took out the high. That would have been very bearish, but this one is, quite bearish, just not at the most it could be. But if you look down at the bottom, most importantly, we have an uptick in volume. It's not incredibly high volume, but it is an uptick. It's the highest volume we've had in about 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks. So we do have a sign that we have hit some supply. It's not a major sign, which is why I'm not looking to play a 6 to 8 week to 10 week output, because I'm only looking for a temporary retraction, maybe upper 5700s. So I'll be looking to play a 5 to 10 day output simply because my confidence on the timeline is diminished. If that was a very high extreme amount of volume, kind of like the volume we saw on August 5th, then I'd be taking a 10 week, 8 to 10 week output. But this one, I'm going to go with about 5 to 10 and about 50 to 60 points, maybe 100 points out of the money, depending on what I'm looking for. And I think that'll retract, come back down, and then we'll base. If we get any more volume, that's incredibly. If we get a very high volume influx, then I'll change that outlook by the end of the day. But I'm going to let the volume kind of guide me. Same thing. It's the same exact setup for NASDAQ as well, except with the exception is that NASDAQ is not at all-time highs like the S&P is. Still kind of dropping off here, 58.56 on ES. NASDAQ is 22.91 and dropping, took out the overnight low and still coming back off, making for a test of yesterday's low. Keep an eye on the VIX too. VIX is going back up. Let's go to Spot Gamma's trace tool. Let's see. The Iron Condor is back on the tape. It's the exact same strikes. 58.50, 57.90, 5800. So we've got about 15 points of potential downside for the S&P. We bounced right off of yesterday before finally falling through. And then today is 58.50, 58.45 to the upside. So that limits the upside to about 35 points and the downside to about 15 to 20 points, if that were to occur. But he is back on the tape in a very large degree, and I'll show you what that looks like. Right now we do have a little bit more drop action here. There's the trace tool. Looking at the hero, we have full 5-minute bearish candles. We have full bearish 15-minute candles as well on ES and NASDAQ. We have a little bit more red creeping into the S&P as ES just tapped their overnight low, and now they're going for the yesterday's low, which is 7 points lower. Right now, we just experienced a whole bunch of call selling, put buying. Which is what's fueling this downside. Pretty much the same exact open as yesterday. Is that a whole bunch? We have 1.1 billion in put buying, and they're dumping calls. So aggressive negative deltas here on the hero indicator, as they are just piling into downside positions. VIX is going up here, 21. Apple's up. Nvidia is not going down. They're the only ones that are holding this up because with tech, there always has to be one. That's the plunge protection safety team. Algorithms sell everything and they pick one and they buy it up to hold up the indexes, keep it from limiting down. And so far, Nvidia is going up while everything is going down. $58.55. Went short on Bitcoin. Nice. $58.54 still dropping. That's 280 for NASDAQ and still dropping. They're off from 370. So that's a 100-point smash right on NASDAQ. The same exact open as yesterday. Call selling, put buying, aggressive 15-minute down candles. We took out the prior pivot at 331, and now we're just kind of smoking on down to 271. and let's see how far we can go. Next stop is going to be 254, which is the overnight low. We have a whole bunch of icebergs hitting the tape here too. And then 58.50 liquidity would bring lower on ES. Any kind of shift in action here, we'll take a look. But right now we're at 1.3 billion negative of put buying, and they're still selling calls. So everything points to downside for the time being. I'm going to wait till after the first half hour. This is pretty shaken here, so just remind me after the first half hour, and I'll take a look at it. I just want to make sure that we're watching this. $297, a little bit of a bounce. Overall, this is playing the downside thesis on the daily chart. $297. ES is defending the overnight low position. Overall, ES has been in this position since 2 o'clock yesterday. They've been back and forth in this 10-point range since 2 o'clock yesterday when they kind of fell into it. So let's see if we can get out of that in order to jump into something. But if they take out the 58.53, we'll play down into the 5800 area, which is 10 to 15 points lower. Still 1.2 billion puts. 500 to 100K at 1200 week 3. Nice, Calvin. What's up, 1T? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. The investing community online is reaching a pretty interesting point. So many people have absolutely gotten destroyed that the momentum is kind of leaving the internet communities. From a couple of people I have conversations with and run additional communities themselves, Reddit pages. Nobody knows how to handle the shaken and bacon market, how to adjust other than just buy the dip every time. So the excitement is leaving. People are starting to get fatigue. It's interesting. What's up, NTG? I liked how yesterday when it was slow, you went over a couple of charts. It got me thinking that maybe once a month on Saturday morning when the market's open, you could do a small stream for about 30 minutes. Going over some setups and individual names or ETFs. We can even give it a couple names we're looking at so you don't have to search for everything yourself. Yeah, I'd like to do that. My schedule's a little hectic until about February, but I'd love to continue to do stuff like that, definitely. And then, of course, we could do some during the session itself instead of just sitting here yapping when the markets are slow. Yeah, we could absolutely do that. That's why we're here, for sure. I always like good ideas on how to drive more value anyway. So I've got a bit of a writer's block in terms of content, so that would be good to do. Quitters, yeah, quitters. Jabroni block. 58.52. We've got still put buying, call selling 1.3 billion on the puts and increasing. Or I guess I should say decreasing, depending on if you're a math teacher or not. Apple's still dropping. Microsoft is still dropping. Nvidia, of course, is still going up. VIX is also still going up. XLF is still going up here too. NASDAQ is dropping 268, 267, and they are approaching overnight low. Or I'm sorry, yesterday's low. So here's the deal. Nice little short down to this position once we took out 331. That was the indication to go short. Now we're looking at an engulfing red candle from 380 down to 260. That's a 120-point sell-off here. Same exact open as yesterday with volume, with the puts, everything. So now we're looking at the target for yesterday, which is about 255. 255, which just got swept. Or I'm sorry, didn't get swept, it took out. If they bottom wick this candle in this area, that's where they're going to be looking to do it, is somewhere in this area. Where's the liquidity on Bookmap? I would probably say they're going to sweep this liquidity level here at 240, probably come down to 230, 227, and then bottom wick it. They'll sweep it. And now's your attempt, now's your chance to go long somewhere in this block right here for a possible bounce, even if it's only a small bottom wick. Or if you're short, just don't give up a huge hammer candle. If they do it here. If they do it. There it is. There's a green 5-minute 945 candle. They didn't sweep the liquidity yet, but they got down to about 242 so far. So the pricing algorithms work out perfectly. Right at 1045 or 945, we have a large green, or I guess a mediocre green, at that candle. So survive the 5-minute algorithm, survive the shift, and let's see if they can sweep that liquidity here at 240. There's a top wick. And I would probably look for upper 220s, lower 230s before anything happens, if it does happen. If it gives out this area, I would look for 065, 050. With Bookmap, if you see a large liquidity at a certain level, does that price typically move to that level? Depends on the environment. If there's a outlier amount of liquidity at a certain area and is being managed, then yeah, I would look for that area to work as a magnet. All right, here's upper 220s. If they're going to sweep it and bottom wick it, it's going to be here. If not, we're going to shift down another 100 points. 230 down. Survive, roll down your stops. Does Trading Tick show puts? I'm showing massive amount of puts, 1.5 billion, and now increasing. And they're selling calls like a bunch of jabronis. If they're going to bottom wick it, it's going to be here with the sweep. So, step right up, place your bets. Come one, come all. Place your stop losses. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? There's the green candle right off the sweep. Whew. Man, I might go ahead and call it a day, baby. I still have to do Bookmap stream. Still got to do Bookmap stream. It's almost like we know what we're doing. The selling is tech only, right? So far, yeah, it is tech heavy. I wouldn't say tech only, but it's definitely tech heavy. The only items that are red, for the most part, are tech or tech-related items. XLF is skyrocketing. RTY is up. Dow is going up pretty strong here. And, yeah. Bottom wick. If we can close the 5-minute bottom wick in 3 minutes, it'll be a good indication to retest at least 300. Catch yourself, 50, 60 points on a long there. Easy peasy. Low emotion. Don't be a jabroni. Just put on a position. Set your stops. Don't be a jabroni. And go register to vote. Kamala Harris is reportedly considering to appear on Joe Rogan podcast. I would pay money to listen to that. Here's the bottom wick. Bought some at 53, hoping for 72 retest before dumping. All right, so there's the bottom wick right off of it, off the liquidity sweep. Can they close a 5-minute green candle, though? And then, if we could survive that, we'll play towards the 15-minute pivot, 15-minute algorithm, which is at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock. I think I found the speakers I'm going to put in my ceilings. And now I got to find the interface. Still doji. We got one sweep. So far not holding. From Walmart. Yeah, Aldi's has got a sale on some in-house speakers. I'm gonna try those out. $7.99 a piece. All natural, all organic speakers. Back to cleaning out the sand. Farm-fed speakers, yeah. Really like my Sonos setup. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I mean, I like what I see with the Sonos so far, from what I've researched. I'm in Naples. Oh man, I thought you were like being metaphorical, like you're cleaning the sand out of your system. Is everything good? Everything survive? Yeah, all good. Nice. Good. Good to hear. If they give out this area, you see they're adding liquidity to 175. Where is 175 on the charts? 175 would put us at the support retest from Monday, October 7th. So that this liquidity right here makes sense. If they fail this candle, then I would play down to this until 9 o'clock, which is another 10 minutes. 175. That bottom wick candle got me out of my short, so I'm not in any further positions. But 175 would make sense if they failed this candle. So that's your next target for downside if it fails. I even spotted Lieutenant Dan riding his moat to $3 million. Whew. $233. Still can't sell it so far. Did y'all see the new Polymarket betting poll on the election? Holy smokes. Ain't no way that's real. Yeah, I'm glad to see you're okay, Dan. I'm glad the property's okay. A little bit of sand. XLF is straight up. Yep, NASDAQ is still holding the upper 220s here. Still hasn't sold yet, so as long as it holds this, everything is up on the up and up. We have Bookmap at the bottom of the next hour, 10:30. So we'll be signing off here a couple minutes before and setting that up. Property Management Company were good. They helped a lot. Nice. Had a buddy with a house on the beach in the Sarasota area. He has sand up to his ceiling. That's crazy. I'm very curious what's going to happen to the Florida real estate market in the upcoming years. What's up, Salim? How you doing? If Russell starts to bleed, that'll be good to sell it down. Yeah, if small caps start to rotate down, the ES will follow. In my opinion, I would keep an eye on XLF. XLF is kind of the key driver other than, that's like the secondary driver. That's like first gear. If you've got a stick shift, first gear is tech. You throw it down into second gear, that's going to be XLF. If you grind out second gear, drop it back off, transmission is going to fall out of the bottom. XLF is straight up. It's already crazy, I bet. UNH, yeah. UNH I saw had a little bounce-a-roni yesterday. Can't keep UNH down, man. That one is nuts. You want to talk about long-term bullish. Hate to be in the insurance business down there. Tell me about it. NASDAQ still dropping back over. Still no sign of aggressive buy-up yet, other than a couple of scalp long there. 221, if we give this out, look for 175. 175. On down. Here's the bounce, bottom wick off of it. I don't know which hurricane did what. We had 3. Still dojied out 15-minute chart. That's where I've been hanging out with. I've been sitting on the 15-minute chart for a couple of weeks now, which I'm sure y'all know this by now, and it's been working really, really well. Cuts out the crap, baby. Anyone finding any new success? Anyone overcoming any obstacles? Finally getting their first payout, etc. I like to hear success stories. Hit my goal for the day. You're welcome, NTG. I appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate it. We need to do a YouTube prop firm for dummies video. I could, yeah. I could. I'd like to do that. My success, honestly, has been calling it quits after the first hour. You helped me with that a ton. Oh, nice. You helped me with that, Owen. Nice. But it's hard because I like chatting with the community, but also drives a FOMO. I completely understand that because I enjoy talking with y'all too, and sometimes I sit here for beyond just because I enjoy the conversation. And I have to physically close out everything. That's why I had been on Tradeovate trading on Top Step for a while, and I made the move over to Top Step X. And one of the benefits is the fact that I can just lock it out. Like, I don't have to worry about re-engaging because I'm more likely to overtrade in my Top Step than I am in my real account. My real account I'm very protective about because it's quote unquote real money, and I don't like to do that. So I close out my IBKR, I'll lock out the Top Step, and I'll just chit chat for a little bit, when I'm done, analyze some stuff. So I completely understand that. But I can't stress it enough that you have to follow the rule of time to shut it down too. We talked about it a little bit last night. I sent a message late, 6, 7 o'clock last night about that very thing. Is the market is not meant to be traded all the time. There are some conditions that certainly shouldn't even be touched. So if you're finding a way to take a trade every single day, then you're probably over trading. When's the last time you went a day without taking a single trade? How long has it been since you've not even taken a single trade? Other than a holiday, of course. Or something that forced you to be away. When's the last time you've voluntarily not taken a trade during this session? If you can't remember, then you might be doing something wrong. Hi, my name's Kennedy, and I'm addicted to trading. You're the first timer I saw. Can you tell us a little bit more of that Tier 2 while we wait? Yeah. So Tier 2 is obviously the secondary level to the Discord. It offers the weekly brief that we post on Sundays with all the analysis in the weekly macro candles. Right now I'm posting macro levels for ES, NASDAQ, and every now and then I'll do some updated CL levels. And then if I see something worthwhile posting, I'll post some macro levels on additional names. In addition to that, every other Sunday we do a Tier 2 dedicated Zoom call, which we get on and go over curriculum. Right now we're going through the entire book of VPA, chapter by chapter, and they're all recorded and posted. So you can go back and watch those at your leisure. We're about to start chapter 11 of the book, which should be nearing the end. We've got about a chapter or two left before we're done. So, and then we'll we'll go back to normal curriculum of going through content, and then maybe one day down the road we'll pick another book and go through it chapter by chapter. So, and then of course we're always doing a lot of. I'm always looking to drive more value, and do stuff. I post a lot of times when we're approaching a macro level. I try to post it so people are alerted to the fact that we are reaching a macro level. When was the last time the sun wasn't up? How do you validate higher or lower volume? Like at 10 a.m., how do we know we have more volume the last 75% of the year? Is a way to know. Well, I'm sure there's some analytics out there that'll tell you that. I just look back. If I see an outlier type of volume, I'll go back to a higher time for the highest time frame I can manage, and I'll zoom all the way out, and I'll just say, all right, well, the big red candle down there, how does that match up to prior? And I'll keep on going until I find it, and you'll know pretty quickly is it an outlier volume or not. If it's something about average, I won't even. It doesn't matter. Won't even bother. But if I'm on the 5-minute chart, I'll compare it to only the past couple of sessions. If we do a 15-minute chart, I'll do a little bit longer. If I do like the 60-minute chart, you get the gist. The higher the time frame, the longer I'll go back and analyze that volume against. So my goal on doing that is determine, is there above average, an average, or below average amount of activity in today's session, because that will help you figure out what the intent is. If we have an above average amount of participation and all that participation is sell, then most likely we're going to face a trend down day because the institutions are looking to dump the market. I finally read Anna Colling's book and I'm going to try to apply and learn. Green on the day suits. I got that going for me. Nice. Finally seeing profits over 3 years, being disciplined. Nice, Calvin. Keep it up, buddy. Just glad to be still trading. Everyone I talked about trading has quit. Just me and a buddy of mine is still trading. Yeah, 100%. You're right. Invest in muscle. We just talked about that this morning. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of other traders. Most of which are online, like doing what I'm doing. And they're all saying the same thing. It's just that the euphoria from the market in 2021 is diminishing because people now actually have to learn how to trade. It's more than just buy a call and hold. Now you actually have to be a little bit more analytical, and they don't know how to fight the consolidation. Some people can figure out how to go from an uptrend to downtrend, but not many people know how to push the brakes and not trade when the markets consolidate. And we've been doing a lot of consolidation, a little bit more red and stuff like that, and you have to learn how to trade. You got to do it for real. Not to mention the onslaught of prop firms. Prop firms have exploded the past year. The popularity in prop firms have exploded the past year, and I think, in my opinion, as much as I think they can be an amazing tool for you, I think they have destroyed the retail trader by giving them one false hope and access to ridiculous amounts of leverage. Because people don't understand that prop firms may be great, but they are still a business model. And the reason why they give you access to 15 minis is because they want you to reset your account. That's where you get that dollar. Why do you think that dude, Patrick Whalen, is bringing in $70,000 a month in affiliate fees just for Apex? Not to mention his other prop firms that he's pushing, because he knows that people are resetting left and right. Yeah, he posted his deposit the other day from Apex alone. It was $70,000 in 1 month just for his affiliate link from Apex. Because people are resetting like mad. Which, good on him. I don't blame him. If he's running a community and people are resetting, why not? Make the money. But it's just crazy. Ridiculous. The point is that everyone's resetting, and prop firms can be detrimental, devastating, if you don't understand what it is and how to use it. It can be an awesome tool. He's also showing the trade 10 NQs. Yep. Look at that. There's the sweep off 200. About 25 points lower than I thought it would sweep. And now they're big old push up here, 60 points. Finally read Anna Colling's book. I already read that one. Can't be mired to any bias in any position. Cut it loose like a toxic relationship. 100%. Prop firms are a gimmick, especially when you're a new trader. Resets are stupid. If you blow the account, just wait for the new month. Use 2 accounts if needed. It's cheaper than resets. Yep. XLF is still rocket ships. That guy sucks. He's been exposed for paper trading a bunch. Yep. I have to go get 10-3 and 12-3 wire Romex today. I have to wire in the switch legs and the dryer. Making a supply list. Any programs above tier 2? No. The options are we have tier 2, but then of course we have the annual membership and the lifetime membership, which if you plan on staying in the server long term, they save you some money. That's the reason why someone asked me if I offered the program. I didn't, and I was like, hey, that might be a bad idea because if you plan on being here for 3-4 years, then it'll save you a lot of money in the long term. Other than that, no, I only offer tier 1 and tier 2. Some people have asked me to do one-on-ones. I may visit that in the future. I just don't have time to do the one-on-ones. Maybe I'll open up like 5 slots a month or something like that for a one-on-one or something. I don't know. $265 Nasdaq is blasting. That's a 60-point, 70-point move back up here after the sweep into the 200s. What the lifetime cost? Lifetime cost for tier 2 is $3,000. $3,000. Which, if you do the math, if you're paying $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. You'll recoup your losses about 2.25 years in. Not your losses, your membership about 2.25 years in. So if you plan on being here for 3 years and more, 2 years, a little more than 2 years more, then it'll pay off in the long run to do the lifetime. And you get a blue name, yeah. You get a little thing beside your name, yeah. Tier 1 lifetime is $1,000. And a crown, yeah. $264. Up to $280. That was a little pop back up here. I did not trade the upside on that. I traded the downside, not the upside. What happens when you decide to close the server in 2 years? I haven't addressed that yet, but if that did come to it, I would just prorate the refund back to people. Unless you're at the break-even point. If you were to, I would prorate it unless we were at the point where if you were paying $100 a month, it would be right there. But I would prorate it if that ever came to it. I guess I should mark that on the website because I haven't even addressed that. Can you trade my money or lack thereof? Negative. I've done that before. I hated it. Coming back up, 280. Wire my house in the 90s and pass inspection first try. Nice, Deacon. It's an awesome feeling, isn't it? XLF rocket ships 4740. And RTY's rocket. So there you go. Someone said if the small caps rocket, it'll do the same. Look what happened. RTY blasting, Dow blasting, VIX off. So liquidity sweep below that prior area, 230, and now we bounce. How's Pastor doing? Pretty good. He messes me every now and then. He's doing really well. He said he was going to come back later, so he's off doing his life and pretty stuff. 290 still going. Nice green candles engulfing green on the 5s and 15s. Going. And then rocket ship 286. They are pounding the calls now and dumping puts, so they completely flipped the script. Pounding calls, dumping puts. They've dumped about 1.3 billion in puts, and now they're piling into the calls. If you ever decide to leave the server, I think you should point a new options millionaire like the new Batman. That's the thing about this, though. I don't know if I could ever could transfer it because it requires a certain personality to do this stuff, unless the guy was just a machine, blasting trades and stuff. But if I was up here like, NASDAQ is red, it's got a little downside movement, I don't think anybody would ever want that. Damn, wouldn't be that boring. 290 NASDAQ is still going. Full on buy up here. Full on buy up. Bottom wicking, took out the VWAP. Still going. Not VWAP, it's a 9. That's the 9 EMA. AIOM, yeah. This is October 16th, 2024. By then you can upload all StreamCon YouTube videos to an iBot and it'll copy your voice and personality. I'm sure someone's already done that. Put some disparaging videos out there about me. It would be cool to take 10% of fees and do one monthly swing. If it profits yearly, then everyone who's been a member gets profit sharing kickback. Yeah, I think that's called a hedge fund. The problem with that is that I handle the tax burden with that. I'm the one paying taxes on that. Everyone else is not, and my tax bill is already high enough. I would love to do something like that. I've had people offer to let me trade an account with multiple people's money in it for that very reason. And I was like, no, because I have to handle the tax burden. Until I'm financially qualified and certified, I can't do that. You pay my taxes, fine with me. Still going green, 20,300. 100-point bounce after the liquidity sweep, and off we go. If you look at the 10 o'clock candle, which, by the way, 10 o'clock algorithm shift. They shifted at 9:45. They shifted at 9:45, and they shifted at 10 o'clock. Large red down into the 210 area. Bottom wick back up, and they swept it with an influx of volume. Spot gamma or trading ticks? If you had to choose between one or the other, I'm choosing spot gamma. AI replaced by machine. Glad you still got the live, Gary. Thanks, InvestMuscle. I am too. 306, 310, still nothing but buyers here. I still nothing but calls. And oddly enough, XLF is now dumping. So the rotational force is here. They sold tech. They rallied everything else, and now they rotated back in and out. You see RTY launched. All this is rotation, churning and burning for VIX. Was there any liquidity or level on Bookmap that showed the move higher? Yes. I was gunning for 230 for the liquidity sweep. I said upper 220s through 228. We got down to 207, so about 20. I got within 20 points of my target on NASDAQ, or 20 points beyond my target before they actually swept. And then they started placing this stuff up here, 284, and now they've got on 350. So they're managing liquidity left and right. They managed it lower, they managed it higher. So they are putting on targets here. They already took out the 283. Now next target will be 350. 350 will bring us right inside the support resistance flip from 0845 in the morning. So that'll be the first target. We take out that, then we'll take out the overnight highs. Have you been doing any post-market write-ups? Not lately, not since this crap. Every now and then I've posted one just because the market hasn't really been doing much. Aside from the last day or two. Last day or two, 3 days, it's been moving a little bit more, but other than that, the market's been the same old thing, which is hands off until otherwise noted. Bullish until otherwise noted. And yeah. ASML, yeah, I told you I was going to do that. Thank you. ASML. Getting smoked. Let's go out to the daily chart. All right, so here's a good instance. I look over. I see there's incredibly high volume today, or yesterday. So I'm going to zoom out on the daily, and I'm going to zoom all the way out to like 2006. Today is the second highest sell volume candle in history, or not in history, but going back to 1997. So that's a significant event for this name. I need to pay attention to the fact because that's incredibly high volume. And it's even still, it's the highest amount of volume we've gotten since 2013. So we're talking about a decade high volume on one session. There's a reason why we need to pay attention to that. And today we have a follow through breakdown candle. The daily chart volume POC is 635. Let me get a little more accurate on that. 636 is the daily POC on that name. That's the likely target here. We've already taken out all micro supports. We've already taken out the trend line. We've already taken out the high volume node on the POC, or I'm sorry, on the volume profile. The next step is the POC, which is 636. That's where I'll play down to. All bearish across all fronts here. We have a qualified candle, which is a high volume candle with a wide spread. Sellers are complete control. 636 target. Which is what? 636 from here is approximately 4 or 5%. If my math is correct. That's not too shabby of a move. I'm sorry I had to step away for a second. The 636, that was for ASML. Azor asked me about ASML, so I'll give you a little point here. Right there. No, you're fine. It's a good question. Clarification. OKLO. Oklo Inc. Rocket ships. What do they do for a living? What does Oklo do? Whatever they did, they are hammering the calls, baby. They're nuclear. Oh, their price action's going nuclear. Energy. Is that because Trump is predicted to win now? And Trump is pro-energy or pro-nuclear? Small reactors? I'm just talking simply in terms of election forecast. Let me go look. Trump OKLO. Let's see. News in the space of the Google investment. Okay, nice. Companies want their own nuclear power plants for AI. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? AI data center growth won't happen without lots of new power generation. Nuclear is the path. I find that trend lines plus VPA helps a lot. Would you say it can help? Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, 100% agree. If you are playing trend lines, I mean, they help. I mean, look at the macro trend line we've got going on now. ES has been on a macro trend line since July 30th, and it's working beautifully. Even today, the rejections beautifully. But VPA is always first. Otherwise, the 40% of the time when trend lines don't work, you're going to get caught with your pants down. And that is no bueno for anyone. Abuela is going to come out with the wooden spoon, give you a spanking. Anyone's abuela, take a wooden spoon to the behind. Yeah, that wasn't fun. I hid the spoons. I remember my grandmother's in her Puerto Rican accent. She'd be chasing me down speaking Spanish with a wooden spoon in her hand. And it still had marinara on it where she'd cook sauce for my Italian grandfather. That's why they call me Sauce Bud growing up. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't do that. $56.87. You ever get a chancellor thrown at you, OM? I don't know what that is. What's a chancellor? 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 Chancla. Ah. I told you, I'm always semi-Spanish. It's a sandal. Oh, no, no. Oh, yeah, I have had to throw one. Of course. Of course. Let's see here. ES is putting on a bull flag, getting ready to break higher, it appears. NASDAQ is about to do the same. I'm still putting target of 350 on NASDAQ to the upside. I see no signs of selling yet. I see no top wicks. I see nothing but call buying. We just flagged and went higher. Target 350 NASDAQ. Flippy floppy. Does anyone speak more than 3 languages? English, Spanish, and jabroni. I love it. Sarcasm count. Ask my wife. I've always been super impressed with people that speak multiple languages. Like I remember asking my grandmother, which was an interesting question for a young age. She was obviously Spanish speaking, learned English later. That when she prays or when she thinks or when she has a dream, which language is she dreaming and thinking in? I always wondered that for multiple language speaking people. Like, do you change which languages you think in your own head? How do you interpret the meaning of a large stops being hit? Well, 208 stop is not big. That's a small potatoes. That's why I filter out small stops, and I only look for large stops. When a stop is pinging a couple of thousand, that's when I pay attention to, and usually after a large movement and they sweep. Right now, all this stuff stops is small potatoes. The icebergs right now are small potatoes. Spanish, French, English, and Jamaican. Oh, cool. Very cool. Still going. 350's target on NASDAQ. Blastaroni V recovery. Massive call buying on the 0 DTE Hero Indicator. Massive call buying. They have sold $2 billion worth of puts, and they have bought, oh man, $1.4 billion in calls. I mean, absolutely. The rate of calls being purchased now is stronger than the puts being bought this morning, although the put buying was incredibly strong. And VIX is rolling off hard. Schematics of VIXpiration. What language do you dream in if you are deaf? Ooh. Interesting. You're blowing my mind, dude. See, that's a question you need to ask me when I take my 50 milligrams of THC. Whenever we do that stream that we talked about yesterday, ask me that question. I'll probably give you a very profound answer. So what is what bookmap stop aggregate setting should I use? You mentioned 200 the other day. 200 is for icebergs. For the stops, I'd set 1,000 or more. Yeah. Do I dream every day? Not every day. Quite often, though. You're going to take 50 milligrams in the stream. We were talking about that yesterday. I've never taken any kind of drug before. My buddy took 25 milligrams, half a can of the 50 milligram soda, like THC soda. And he ended up naked in his living room in the middle of the night, chasing butterflies, hallucinating. And I was like, man, I've never tried that stuff before. Maybe, 38 years old, maybe it's time I try something. But probably not, though, because, I don't know, I'm not into that stuff. But all right, y'all, I do have to sign off to head over to, that wasn't THC. I have to head over to Bookmap stream. So good things we talked about this before we got on the very professional Bookmap stream. So yeah. So I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to post the new links. I'll be back on in about 2.5 minutes, and we'll get this party rolling, baby. Love y'all. Be right back.